Good afternoon. Lovely day. Oh dear. A frog in your throat? Oh, the air is so dry, isn't it? Perhaps a little of your wine might make it better. I say, what was that for?
I'm sorry. It was a wasp. It wouldn't leave me alone. Terrified of the things.
Judging by the lump coming up on my head, your wasp, I should say, is no more.
Oh.
Oh, do be calm, dear lady, and allow me to attend to it. Now, shoo, shoo. Off you go, and leave this lady in peace. Now, you see, no need to get hot and bothered. We are all God's children.
Thank you. Sorry about your head. Is it all right?
I think so. Smarts a bit, but I don't think you've drawn blood. Can you see? It's all right. I mean you no harm. I just wondered if you'd take a look.
Keep away from me! Keep away!
Good gracious. I'm not a mugger or anything. Please don't be alarmed.
1 metre plus. 1 metre plus a mask. Preferably 2 metres.
I beg your pardon?
Social distancing?
Oh, I am so sorry. What was I thinking? I forget, you see. I get confused. And it is all very confusing. Some people wear a mask, others do not. We aren't supposed to gather with other people, yet sometimes we may. It's difficult to know what we are supposed to do. Now you mention it, I did hear something of 1 metre plus, but to tell you the truth, I thought it meant 1 metre plus a little bit more than a metre, like 1 metre 10 centimetres. I didn't know it meant 1 metre plus the wearing of a mask. I remember thinking at the time, that's a little imprecise. Why don't they say 1.1 metres or 1.2 metres? And anyway, most people have no idea how far 2 metres is. So why bring fractions into it? Yes, so that's what it means. I'd better get myself a mask then.
Well, I think that would be a good idea. Well, you have to wear them in shops now and on public transport.
One of my parishioners was making masks and she offered me one. But then she told me she was making them by cutting up her old brassieres. And I thought the bishop would not approve of my walking around in a lady's bra. That man, Trump, President of the United States of America, he said he would not wear a mask. Oh, but then he did. Then he said he had a mask that made him look like the Lone Ranger. But of course, the Lone Ranger has a mask over his eyes, not over his mouth. So how did Mr. Trump think that an eye mask was going to help? Do you think he gets a little confused too?
I'm absolutely sure of it. Don't they sometimes call the President of the United States leader of the free world? My God, if he's leader of the free world, then God help us all. Oh, God. Sorry about the God references. No offence intended.
None taken. The Lord works in mysterious ways his wonders to perform. But that man is a total mystery to me. I woke up this morning and drew back my curtains. The sun was shining, not a cloud in the sky. Flowers swaying in the breeze, birds singing, insects buzzing. And I thought, everything is normal again. But it is not, is it?
Well, it depends what you mean by normal. Basics haven't changed. Babies are born. People are getting married. People are still getting robbed. Life goes on. Well, for most people anyway.
Well, that's true. It's the way we do things that's changed. Well, take weddings. I had a diary full of weddings. And then one by one the poor young things came to me and asked if they could still go ahead. And I had to tell them no at first. Well, they can now, of course, but with only a handful of people present. No mass ranks of bridesmaids nor hordes of friends and family.
Well, maybe that's a good thing. After all, as a man of the cloth, wouldn't you say it's the vows a couple make that's the most important thing when you get married? Not some flipping party. You know, you can put the word wedding in front of anything and you can double the price. Some people spend thousands getting married when they could be spending it on something useful, like a house or something. My mother and father got married in a registry office. Went back to work in the afternoon. Oh, well, maybe it's good some things have changed.
Well, you're right, of course. But didn't you have a traditional wedding with a ham salad reception and a 3-tier wedding cake?
Me? No. Back in the 70s, I was a firm believer in the slogan that a woman without a man was like a fish without a bicycle. I wasn't going to manacle myself to some man. It's a good job we weren't making face masks out of bras in those days. I'd burnt all mine. You may not think it to look at me now, but I was a bit of a radical.
Oh, a feminist, then?
Yes, and I still am. We've made progress, but there's a long way to go.
Well, 2 female prime ministers, women in the clergy, and Equal prize money at Wimbledon. Progress has been made.
Oh, yes, but too few women in top jobs. And 50 years after the Equal Pay Act, women are still paid less than men. 50 years. And then there's the blue for a boy, pink for a girl thing. Take a look in the toy shops, Reverend. Children are still being forced into stereotypes that will affect them for the rest of their lives. And then look further afield, you've got forced marriages, female genital mutilation and modern slavery. Oh, yes, I know all about that. We've still got a bloody long way to go.
Well, I can see you feel very strongly about it.
Yes, I do. Oh, sorry. Don't often get the chance to have a good rant at anyone. Not recently. Not since the lockdown.
Oh, don't apologise. Feel free to vent your frustrations on me. I am a man, after all, so I probably deserve it.
Ha! You probably do. You pay a price, of course.
I'm sorry, for what?
Well, for taking the principled stand. Rejecting conventional relationships. Marriage.
There are other types of relationship. You don't have to marry. Not that I'm advocating that, of course, but you could have a partner, couldn't you?
Yes, of course. And I did. Several. Oh, but they never worked out. But you know what pisses me off the most? My female friends, fighters for the cause, one by one, they settled down, had kids, lived conventional lives. Oh, we meet up from time to time, put the world to rights, get angry about things. And sooner or later, the talk comes round to kids and school, Christmas nativity, bloody Mother's Day. So, I decided I wasn't going to join them.
Do you have any family?
Not really.
Oh, how do you mean, not really?
Oh, I've got a couple of cousins, I suppose. We never had much to do with them when we were children. I've no idea where they are now, or even if they're still alive. And I don't really care.
Oh.
I don't mean that the way it sounded. I'm just not the sort to go seeking out long-lost relations. I had a sister. Have a sister. Suppose she's still alive. Selfish bitch.
Not the term of abuse one would expect to drop from the lips of a feminist.
No, I suppose not. Oh, we were close once. As teenagers, we shared everything. Clothes, makeup, even boyfriends. But then I burnt my bras and went on marches. I was at Greenham Common, you know.
Really?
Well, only at weekends, but it's the thought that counts. Meanwhile, she bagged herself a stockbroker, got married, moved to Surrey and had 2.4 children.
2.4?
Yeah, isn't that supposed to be the national average? Oh, they were certainly a very average family on a way above average income. Oh, listen to me. Now who's being a bitch? Oh, they were all right at first. But when Dad died and Mum showed signs of dementia, they expected me to do all the caring. Well, I was single, no kids, lived close by. Made perfect sense to them.
But you weren't happy?
Oh, I agreed it was probably for the best. And I did it, of course. And it wasn't all bad. And she was a wonderful woman, a wonderful mum. And there were some hilarious moments. But do you have any idea how much of your life goes into caring for someone with dementia at home? It's 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And sometimes you feel it's you losing your mind. So it would have been nice to have a break from time to time, you know? A day off here and there. I could meet people, I could go shopping, meet some friends.
But they didn't help you. Did they visit at all?
Oh Oh, they come down every couple of months. You know, they come swanning in with their chocolates and their flowers and their comments and their suggestions. Oh, Mother's looking a bit shabby. What happened to that nice cardie we bought her for Christmas? A bloody Ofsted inspection. When the poor old love got worse, it just stopped coming altogether.
So the whole burden fell on you?
Yes, and I paid the price. You know, when Mum died, I had no friends left, no life really, and I can't forgive her for that. So we rarely speak, and I haven't seen her since the funeral. Oh, 5 years ago now.
Is that a brass band?
It sounds like it.
Well, is it allowed?
Well, I'm not a fan, but I wouldn't make them illegal.
Well, but surely a brass band involves a lot of blowing, doesn't it?
I suppose it does. I'm sorry, I don't catch your drift.
Well, is blowing allowed? In the lockdown, isn't there a danger of spreading the virus?
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah, good point.
It's a gramophone.
A gramophone? Oh, is it one of those ones with the big horn on the top? Didn't you have to use to wind them up?
No, it seems like a modern device. I had no idea they were back in vogue. I thought records had gone away years ago. Isn't everything digital now? A gramophone in the park. I think that's rather nice. Do you think they've come back because of the epidemic?
So, what have you missed most in the lockdown? How has the dreaded corona hit you?
When I was a child, corona was a fizzy pop delivered to our door by a lorry.
Yeah.
Intercourse.
Well, I wasn't expecting that.
I'm sorry?
Intercourse. Is that allowed in the clergy?
Oh dear. A misunderstanding. Oh, how embarrassing. No, social intercourse, interpersonal relationships.
Ah. Do you have family?
No, all long gone. I have my congregation. Being a priest is all about people.
Isn't it about God?
Well, yes, of course. But without people, there's no church, no beliefs, and in a way, no God.
It's a bit radical, isn't it?
Oh, not really. Being alone with God is fine if you're a hermit monk. But for a priest, your congregation, your community, is everything. I love them, every single one of them. I love them for their strengths and weaknesses, their kindness and selfishness, their achievements and failings. I love being with them. I love serving them.
Well, how can you love their failings, weaknesses and selfishness?
Because those are the things that make them human. And it's far better to love them for their less attractive side than to hate them for it. Although it can sometimes be bloody difficult. Oh, language. I wouldn't like to live in a perfect world. There'd be nothing to aspire to. No, that's what I miss. You don't know how it feels to conduct a service in an empty church and not being able to see your congregation face to face. I know there's a telephone, but it's not the same. For the first time in my life, I've known what it is to be truly lonely. And I can hardly bear it.
Me too. Hey, the clapping was good though. Wasn't that strange? We all stood outside of our doors and on the stroke of 8 we all started clapping. Whose idea was that? Quite bizarre.
A community. 2 minutes once a week, a bit of community. About your sister.
Oh, her.
Is it time to forgive her?
Well, I don't hate her. I just lost her. Well, she lost me.
But wouldn't you like her back?
It hurts. It bloody hurts. She sacrificed my freedom for her family. I looked after our mother for years. And then when she was gone, I took a look about me and my life had disappeared too.
What if you could wipe away that hurt and be sisters again? Not teenagers sharing clothes, but mature.
Well, that wouldn't work anyway. I'm a size 12 and she's a size 18. Use one of her bras for face masks, you could fit them on a camel.
Ask yourself, if you could wipe away that hurt and be sisters again, sharing each other's joys and sorrows, laughing and crying together, how big a hole would that fill?
Now, she'll never apologise. And if she won't apologise, how can I forgive her?
But does she need to apologise?
Yes, yes.
What if you could just change the order in which things happen?
What do you mean?
Well, would you be prepared to take a small risk? What if she apologised after you'd forgiven her instead of before? Suppose you went to her and said, oh, I'm sorry, what's her name?
Joan.
Suppose you said, Joan, let's be sisters again. That might be all it would take to start a process that would result in your being those two teenage girls again, 50 years old.
Oi!
Oh, I'm sorry, I shouldn't make assumptions about your age.
Well, you're not far out. But where's the justice in that? She was in the wrong.
But you're the one who's hurting. Where's the justice in that?
How do I know she'd respond?
Well, how do you know she wouldn't? And what have you got to gain?
All sounds a bit turn the other cheek to me. A bit prodigal son.
Well, like it or not, there's a lot of good stuff in the Bible. Oh, I'm sorry, I don't mean to be preachy, but please do think about it.
Thank you, I will. Thank you for listening. And for caring.
Well, I suppose I should get back to no peace for the wicked, eh?
Me too. And quite what I'm getting back for, I'm not really sure. So, do you come here often?
Isn't that what they used to say in dance halls years ago? Do you come here often? But no, I've never had the time before, but I think I shall in the future.
Well, goodbye. Look, I'm sorry about the language, all the bloodies and the bitches.
Oh, I've heard far worse than that, sometimes from members of my own profession. Well, I've really enjoyed our chat. Goodbye. Oh, no,
not
naughty.
allowed. Excuse me,
Yes?
would you like to be in a bubble with me?
I beg your pardon?
Would you consider being in a bubble with me?
Well, that sounds quite exciting. What would it entail? Would it mean taking our clothes off? Because I don't think the bishop would
No, it's
approve.
all perfectly respectable.
Oh.
Well, under the rules, two households can meet up as often as they want.
Ah.
You're one household. I suppose I'm another. So, would you like to be in a bubble
Oh,
with me?
my dear lady, I would love to be in a bubble with you. Now, how do we form this bubble?
I suppose we just meet up again. How about same time, same place next week?
How about same time, same place, the day after tomorrow?
Good. Right. The day after tomorrow. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Oh, Reverend,
Yes?
I will ask my sister if we can be teenagers again. 45 years on.
Ah.
So she better bloody apologise.
Language?
Sorry.